Hey everyone, it's Renmar, and welcome to the very first episode of the MPL Philippines Soundcheck. This is going to be a weekly series where we can just sit down and talk about the latest news in the MLBB professional scene, mainly based here in the Philippines, to update you about MPL Philippines and, of course, MDL, which is going to be having its first season. Now, there's not going to be a lot of graphics here, so feel free to put this video and go on to another tab, put it in the background because it's mainly going to be an experience where it's meant for you to listen. Maybe down the line I'll add more graphics, but I want to keep things simple. So it's just going to be you and my voice. And so hopefully you're okay with that. So let's start things off and let's talk about Bren Esports. In case you've been living under a rock, Bren Esports qualified to be the national team for Mobile Legends Bang Bang, the new CBOL team. CBOL being the national esports team of the Philippines, or the Philippines national esports team. And of course, congratulations to Bren Esports. They had a tremendous showing in the qualifying tournament. A lot of people are excited to see them in MPL Philippines Season 11, how they're going to perform based off of their performance from that. But I feel like it's going to be a tough run for Bren Esports in the sense that even though we don't know when MPL Philippines Season 11 will end in terms of like when the playoffs will be, we can only estimate it. Rough estimate, it's most likely going to be happening before the SEA Games. 2023 SEA Games in Cambodia is going to be starting at around May 5 or May 6, if I'm not mistaken. Or was it May 7? Around that time. So, if ever Bren Esports makes a deep run in the playoffs, and the playoffs is sometime before the SEA Games, that's going to be tough. That's going to be really tough for them. Of course, it's already been well documented that one of the things that Blacklist International experienced was that they had a difficult time just managing the tiredness. I wouldn't call it burnout, but tournament after tournament, it's a heavy thing to go through. Now, I'm not discrediting Bren Esports right out of the bat. I'm sure the CBOL organization, in cooperation with Bren, will be able to come up with a really good system, calendar for them to be able to get ample enough rest, and then at the same time, not lose that momentum or carry on their momentum from MPL Philippines Season 11 going into the SEA Games. So, yeah, I'm excited for the run. I'm sure we all are. And I wish Bren Esports all the best. It's going to be a tough one, but I'm sure they're going to be able to figure things out. Now, let's talk about MDL Philippines up next. And yes, finally, we're going to be having the first season of the Development League here in the Philippines. Indonesia, if I'm not mistaken, is in their 7th season now or 8th season for the MDL. So it's been going on for a long time. And MDL Philippines Season 1 will be starting February 15, 2023. And they have their motto for that, which is Ilabas ang lakas. For the international viewers there, that means show your strength. And we'll talk about more of that later on and why I brought that up. But for the official participating teams, we have, of course, the 8 MDL teams of the MPL teams. Again, we work in a franchise system, so you have 8 teams who also have slots in the MDL. So we have Blacklist Academy, we have Echo, we have the team with the absolutely cutest logo, the NXPE Tiger Cubs. I love their logo. You have Smart Omega Neos, Bren Esports X Euphoria. That's a partnership between Bren Esports and Euphoria Esports, a well-known team in the non-MPL scene. You have Onyx Arsenals, Game Lab, another well-known team. Lately, they've been winning a lot of tournaments. I believe the last high-profile one that they won was actually the Top Clans Winter Edition. I think that was around December. And then they also, if I'm not mistaken, they're also the team that made it to the finals of the C-Ball qualifiers, because I know Bren Esports eliminated Echo on the way to the finals, and I believe it was Bren Esports and Game Lab who faced off in the grand finals there. You have RSG Philippines, you have TNC Neo, and Zol Esports or ZOL Esports. We'll talk more about RSG later, but RSG actually just confirmed their partnership with Avium Esports, if I'm not mistaken, who is the parent company or the organization that oversees Slate Esports in Singapore. Slate, of course, being made up of the former members of EVO Singapore. In the last season of MPL Singapore, they made it into the grand finals where they lost 4-3 to RSG Singapore in a really good series. If you haven't seen that yet, by the way, go back and watch that. It's really cool. So one of the things that has been discussed, though, is that with the 8 teams, usually I know in MPL Indonesia, they have their qualifiers where the last 2 teams will go through a qualifying tournament. So it brings back that old spirit of qualifying for the MPL before we turn into the franchise system. Except for MDL Philippines Season 1, it seems like they've gone the route of inviting the teams. Now, I understand because I understand the feeling of people wishing there were qualifiers instead, because there's really a lot of teams out there not in the MPL or MDL system who, man, you can make a case for them that they should have a slot here, and the best way to go through it is to just go through the qualifiers. I understand that, but at the same time, I hope people don't lose heart with this decision to make it what seems like it's all invited. I mean, there's no news about a qualifier, and then Game Lab in their statement in their official page, they did say that they were invited, like it's there, like invited to MDL. So seems like Game Lab and Zol Esports were the ones invited in here. I hope people don't lose heart with this because it is the first season. I mean, maybe the first season is invite only, and then eventually it's gonna show in the qualifiers. Because again, Game Lab and Zol were invited. I don't know the workings behind the discussions there, but maybe down the line we'll have the qualifiers. And I know people love the drama of the qualifiers, and I love it too. Because imagine if you have like a team like Game Lab who's been winning a lot of tournaments lately, and then suddenly they fall to a unknown team or another team that they beat in a recent tournament and they weren't able to qualify for the MDL. So that's a very interesting notion and thought to have. So maybe down the line we'll have the qualifiers, but for what will be a foundational first season where people are really just going to be doing their best to get their names out there, develop the development league into its standalone thing, in the sense that yes, it's the MDL, but I hope there'll be that sense of pride where just because it's the MDL, people don't think of it as, oh, it's below the MPL, in a derogatory way. I know a lot of people will see the MDL as a stepping stone into the MPL, which is great. And honestly, why we have this, and it provides a great opportunity for players out there to perform even more with in tournaments outside of the MPL ecosystem. I feel like I have to bring back a very good point about franchising and the removal of qualifiers. Like, just because the qualifiers is gone doesn't mean the dream of making it into the MPL or MDL is dead. It just means the road to achieving that dream has changed. And after 3 full seasons under the franchise system, we are already very familiar with how the MPL teams scout a talent not in the MPL, And there are talents who don't even show up in tournaments, who were just gods in ranked games, who went in and not auditioned but try outed for a team and eventually got in, and now have made a name for themselves in the league. So the dream isn't dead. That's always been the fear with the removal of qualifiers. The dream isn't dead. And also the possibility of there having qualifiers down the road, maybe season 2, 3 of the MDL, who knows, isn't completely gone as well. So hopefully people don't get discouraged. Hopefully everyone tunes into the MDL because there's going to be a lot of new faces, new talents to watch out for, and just great action that will go on throughout the weekdays because MDL Philippines will be airing on weekdays. Actually, day number 1, week 1, will be starting February 15. And the first match you'll see there will be RSG versus Game Lab. So right away, you have an organization that is a former champion with their roster of up-and-coming talents, and Game Lab, an established non-MPL or outside MPL team who are now here in the MDL and have a way to showcase their abilities. And you have Onyx versus NXPE that day, Bren versus Zol, and then Omega versus TNC. Omega Neos versus TNC. So, yeah, mark your calendars. February 15 to 17 will be the week 1 of MDL Philippines, and we'll just continue. And by the way, the schedule is up. Go to the official Facebook page of MDL Philippines. So, that's MDL. Let's talk about MPL. So, if MDL has ilabas ang lakas, which is to show your strength. Now, MPL Philippines, Season 11, with a really beautiful art that they posted in the official Facebook page, it's itaas ang lakas, which is to raise your strength. Or, hopefully, I translated that right. Itaas ang lakas, raise your strength. That sounds correct. And MPL Philippines confirmed to begin on February... I'm trying to look for that post. How did I forget? February 17th. So we have MDL starting February 15. And then you have MPL starting February 17. And remembering the MDL week 1 schedule, looks like we're going to be getting MDL and MPL on the same day. But we still don't know what time MPL Philippines will start, but most likely it will start after MDL. The last match of MDL Philippines Week 1 is scheduled for 4 p.m. on February 17. Now, history has shown us that if it's a Friday night showing of MPL Philippines, that usually starts at around 6, if I'm not mistaken, or 5. So there's going to be enough time, I believe, wherein right after you have the last match or the closing of MDL, maybe you get like 2 hour or 1 hour break, 2 hour break before the show officially starts for the opening of MPL Philippines Season 11. And now for MPL PH, really a lot of us are just waiting at this point, by the time of recording this, are just waiting for the updates on rosters. And so far, the only team that has really shown their full roster for Season 11 has been Onyx Philippines. And they're going to be going into this season with a new logo. They're actually going to be using seems like the Onyx Philippines arm is using the logo of Onyx Prodigy, which is the MDL team in Indonesia. And they've already confirmed they have Ryota, Super Friends, and Sui Nets, but it looks like it's going to be going under Netski. Dare, Kekedot, you have Pancake Gaming. I believe he's more commonly known as Akose Doggy fan. Yeah. Coach Bluffsy and Coach Lyric. Lyric, by the way, is a community content creator who posts analysis in the same spirit as when Coach Paulo Expert was doing it a lot. Coach Master the Basics, I know he still does it. And now Lyric is a coach. So I got the opportunity actually to work with the Lyric, me and Leo. And I believe Sona as well. There was an episode of show we used to do, MPL Recall, wherein we had Coach Lyric, not a coach yet at that time, as a guest, and you could really tell how well he analyzes games. I like talking with him about analysis. That's my bread and butter, and he does it well, and he seems to enjoy it. So it's just really cool to see Lyric part of the Onyx Philippines squad. And so Onyx PH has theirs confirmed. We don't have a lot of news about the other teams just yet. I mean, there's a lot of rumors floating around, but I don't want to talk about rumors that much, mainly because for this first episode, I just had this idea to do it literally like 15 minutes before I started recording, where I just realized, hey, maybe I should just do this. So I wasn't able to compile all the rumors, but the ones that we can confirm is Onyx PH and RSG partnering up with Slate. So there. RSG Philippines and Slate together. So they're going to be called RSG Slate Philippines, if I'm not mistaken. And to differentiate the logos, RSG Slate Philippines kept the RSG blue logo, except the shade of the blue in the left side of the flame is a lighter blue. And then if you go over to RSG Singapore, it's red. So nice little distinction. And then they released, by the time of recording this, they released the art of that. So go over to the page of RSG Philippines to see how that looks. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it that there is to talk about for now. It was a pretty meaty episode number 1. I'm sorry if I was kind of everywhere with all the discussions, but yeah, this was just like a pilot episode. If you enjoyed it, comment down below. If there's certain topics you want me to cover in the next one, let's talk about it. I'm literally going to be uploading this after recording this. Today is February 1. So I'm going to come back next week, February 8th. Hopefully there's a lot more news by the time that date comes. So there's a lot more to talk about. But yeah, thank you so much for tuning in. Again, this was the very first episode of the MPL Philippines Soundcheck with me, Renmar. Don't forget to like, follow, share the video, and subscribe. Is that what they say? Hopefully you have a great week and weekend coming up ahead. See you.